It was a quiet Sunday morning in Boston, but inside the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum something was terribly wrong. Where priceless masterpieces once hung, there were now only empty frames, hollow eyes staring out, silent witnesses to a crime that would baffle investigators for decades. 13 works of art, gone, vanished into thin air, Rembrandts, a Vermeer, a Manet, pieces of history, not just paintings. Their value was cultural, spiritual, they belonged to everyone, and now, they were gone. The thieves hadn't just stolen art, they'd stolen a part of our shared heritage, leaving a void money could never fill. How could someone walk into a famous museum and simply walk out with a king's ransom in art? It was a question that would echo for years. The Gardner Museum wasn't a fortress, but it wasn't a corner store either. It had guards, alarms, procedures. Yet on that night, all of it failed. The thieves were ghosts, slipping in and out with incredible ease, leaving behind only empty frames and a million questions. It was a puzzle with too many pieces missing, a story with no clear beginning and for a long time no end in sight. The mystery had begun and it was a deep one, and that's where our story really starts. Not with the art, but with its absence. With the silence of those empty spaces on the wall. It's a story about a brazen crime, a desperate hunt, and the long dark shadow it cast. A shadow that stretches all the way to today, August 4th, 2025. The paintings are still out there, somewhere. The mystery is still alive. And those frames, they still hang empty. A constant nagging reminder of the greatest art heist in history. A silent plea for the masterpieces to come home. March 18, 1990. Boston was alive with St. Patrick's Day celebrations, but inside the Gardner Museum, a different kind of quiet had settled. The grand Venetian-style palace, once Isabella Stewart Gardner's home, was closed for the night, its beauty now shrouded in darkness. The Gardner is unlike other museums. It's intimate, personal, every object placed with purpose, but that intimacy also made it vulnerable. On duty that night were two young security guards, Rick Ebeth, a 23-year-old musician, and his less experienced partner. They were the only ones protecting $500 million worth of art. The security system was outdated, plagued by false alarms, a weakness waiting to be exploited. As the city's celebrations faded, the guards made their rounds, passing Rembrandt's Only Seascape and Vermeer's The Concert, unaware they were seeing them for the last time. The stage was set. The players were in position. The clock ticked toward 1:24 a.m. Just after 1 a.m., the museum's side entrance buzzer rang. Rick Abath saw two men on the monitor dressed as Boston police officers. They claimed to be responding to a disturbance in the courtyard, a believable story on a holiday night. Abath, trusting the uniforms, buzzed them in, breaking protocol. The men entered, not as police but as thieves. One wore a fake mustache. They approached the desk using psychological tricks to put Abath on edge. They told him he looked familiar, suggested there might be a warrant for his arrest, and asked him to step away from the desk, away from the panic button. Abath complied, walking right into their trap. The tone shifted. "This is a robbery," one said. They ordered Abath to call the other guard down. Both guards were quickly subdued, bound with duct tape, and led to the basement, handcuffed to pipes far apart. Before leaving, one thief promised, "You'll be hearing from us in about a year." That call never came. For the next 81 minutes, the thieves had the museum to themselves, free to pick and choose from one of the world's greatest art collections. The guards could only sit in silence, helpless as history was being stolen. With the guards neutralized, the thieves began their work. They went straight to the Dutch room, ignoring some valuables and targeting the biggest prizes. Rembrandt's The Storm on the Sea of Galilee and A Lady and Gentleman in Black were crudely cut from their frames. They smashed glass to take a Rembrandt self-portrait and lifted Vermeer's The Concert off the wall. They also took a bronze Chinese beaker, an odd choice among the masterpieces. In the short gallery, they grabbed 5 Degas drawings and a bronze eagle finial, leaving behind even more valuable works. Their choices were strange, suggesting either a specific list or a rushed grab. Their final stop, a landscape by Govert Flinck. After 81 minutes they made 2 trips to their car, taking the security tapes with them, except the one showing their arrival. Then, as quietly as they came, they vanished into the Boston night. The perfect heist was complete, or so it seemed. As Boston woke, the Gardner Museum remained eerily silent. The morning shift arrived to find the side door locked and no response inside. Police were called, and when they entered, they found the empty security desk and, in the basement, the two bound guards. Cold, but unharmed. Upstairs, the true scale of the crime became clear. Empty frames, priceless art gone. Museum director Ann Hawley walked through the galleries in disbelief. The violation felt personal, an attack on the soul of the institution. The FBI was called in. The crime scene was chaotic, duct tape, handcuffs, but no fingerprints. The security tapes that could have shown the thieves' faces were gone. Detectives swarmed the museum, interviewing the guards, piecing together a timeline. Rick Abath and his partner were immediately under suspicion. Was it incompetence or something more? The news exploded worldwide, a $500 million art heist. The museum was sealed off, but it was too late. The art world mourned. Boston was in shock. For investigators, a daunting task lay ahead. Find the thieves who vanished with a priceless treasure, leaving almost nothing but questions. In the weeks after the heist, the FBI chased every lead. Art thieves, mobsters, even the IRA. The reward soared to $10 million. The museum promised no questions asked, just bring the art back. But tips led nowhere, psychics, con artists, and dead ends. Suspicion lingered over Rick Abath, but there was never enough evidence to charge him. The investigation hit dead ends. The thieves were careful, the getaway car was never found. The art never surfaced on the black market. Detectives felt like they were chasing ghosts. The leading theory, a local criminal crew with Boston mob ties hoping to use the art as a bargaining chip. But theories aren't proof. Years passed, leads dried up. The empty frames became a permanent fixture. The trail had gone cold, the hope of recovery fading into a quiet ache. As years passed, the case became legend, a whispered secret in Boston bars and the criminal underworld. The FBI believed the art hadn't traveled far, likely hidden in New England. Names surfaced: Carmelo Merlino, a mobster who allegedly planned to use the art to free a friend from prison. He died without talking. Then came Robert the Cook Gentile. In 2012, the FBI found a list of the stolen art and police gear in his home. The widow of another mobster claimed Gentile had 2 of the paintings. The FBI pressed him, but he denied everything. He failed a polygraph, but insisted he knew nothing. He too died without revealing any secrets. Each promising lead ended in silence. The art remained a ghost in the criminal underworld. In 2013, the FBI made a stunning announcement. They believed they'd identified the thieves behind the Gardner heist. The world listened, hoping for closure. The FBI said the culprits were part of a criminal organization in the Mid-Atlantic and New England, now deceased. The focus shifted, not catching the thieves, but recovering the art. They believed the paintings moved through Connecticut and Philadelphia, possibly offered for sale in 2002. The $10 million reward still stood. The announcement breathed new life into the case, but the breakthrough didn't lead to recovery. No one came forward. The trail grew cold again. The FBI's confidence wasn't enough to bring the masterpieces home. The mystery gained a new chapter, but the final page remained unwritten. And so, here we are, August 4th, 2025. More than 3 decades have passed since the Gardner heist. The thieves are likely dead. The key suspects took their secrets to the grave. The FBI says they've solved the who, but the where remains the most painful question. The empty frames still hang, a memorial and a promise. Millions have visited, imagining the lost beauty. The heist is now part of the museum's identity, a wound that never healed. Theories swirl: a botched robbery, a secret collector, or something stranger. The case remains open, the reward stands. Every so often a new theory or glimmer of hope appears, but the art remains lost. The Gardner heist is a reminder of how fragile our cultural heritage is. The art belongs to the world, and until it returns, the crime isn't over. And so we wait, looking at those empty frames, hoping the ghosts of the Gardner Museum will finally come home. Until then, the mystery continues, a silent, captivating story with no end.